These are this afternoon's top stories. Budget debate continues. Housing policies up for review in Guyana, and deadly crash kills one on Las Vegas Strip. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, 21st December 2015. I'm Carla Barrage. In national news, the budget debate resumed this morning and was broadcast live on ZIZ radio, television and online. Here's more.
Parliamentary Representative for Constituency 8, the Honourable Eugene Hamilton, took the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honourable Michael Perkins, other parliamentarians and the many persons tuned to ZIZ radio, television and online on Monday morning down memory lane as he made his contribution to the 2016 budget. Hamilton spoke at length about the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis and said that the current team unity makeup is reflective of the Nevis Reformation Party NRP People's Action Movement PAM coalition in the 1980s, which he said ensured that Nevisians were treated fairly.
That this country, 3 islands was one. We had that, what you call it, national anthem, not national, it was statehood anthem. Great Trinity of Islands, set in an azure sea, St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla. We pledge our life to the people have forgotten. That's where we came from. And how Anguilla separated from the state and why? And Nevis was right there to go. Had it not been for that unity, which we now bring to this government again, that was there in 1980, we would never have had a nation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Hamilton also credited the work of national heroes, the Right Excellent Dr. Simeon Daniel and the Right Excellent Sir Kennedy Simmons, noting that they paved the way for a prosperous nation.
We have come this far because our two peoples, two leaders, Kennedy and Daniel, don't be referred to him that way. National hero Dr. Simeon Daniel and Dr. Kennedy Simmons, Sir Kennedy Simmons, came together and changed the course of these 2 islands from fragmentation to unity.
The 2016 budget was presented on December 15th and the budget debate began 1 day later. J.D. Keynes for ZIZ News.
After 6 hours of performances and interviews, the winners of the first of the pageants for this year's National Carnival have been announced. On Sunday night at the Sugar Mill, Elsenada Hanley swept most of the segments to amass 1,104.5 points and take the crown, winning all 3 of the swimwear segments, Birds of a Feather, Floral Splendor and National Pride. She also copped the Miss Photogenic Award. After the event, Hanley spoke to ZIZ about her future plans.
I would use the opportunity to promote my platform, holistic development through education of the arts, so that I can reach other artists out there to further develop their skills and their talents.
The first runner-up award went to Sidama Jones with 1,077.5 points, who won twice for Best Interview and the Most Popular Award. The second runner-up position went to Shanika Joshua. Meanwhile, in the Mr. GQ competition, Javon Romney scored 1,064 points to take the title, winning Best Carnival Wear, Best Interview, and Mr. Popular in the process. Romney was the youngest competitor in the pageant.
I'm really happy for myself, and I always enjoy competing with older people because I like to let people know that younger ones can also dominate and pass the older ones.
The first runner-up spot went to Nadaski Percival with 1,039 points. He also won Best Beachwear, Best Talent, and Best GQ Wear. Romain Belgrove placed second runner-up, scoring 994 points and winning Mr. Photogenic for the men. Both Belgrove and Miss ZIZ Vanessa Destouche won the Chairman's Award. The show was carried live on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM and streamed at www.zizonline.com. Meantime, the National Carnival celebrations continue this evening with the highly anticipated Senior Calypso Monarch semi-finals at 17 degrees. The show is scheduled to begin at 8 p.m. and will be streamed at www.zizonline.com and broadcast live on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. On to news on the regional scene. Guyana's Minister of State, Joseph Harmon, says Guyana's housing policies will be reviewed.
The allocation of house lots and other related matters onto the Department of Housing are under review, according to Minister of State Joseph Harmon. He was speaking with members of the media at the Meet the Public Day organized by the Ministry of the Presidency.
I can say to you that, in fact, all of these matters are being reviewed at this time, the way in which house lots were being allocated long ago. As you know, now we have a Ministry of the Communities, and the whole concept behind that was that a house lot is not a house lot on its own. It falls within a community, so it is really the provision of community services. And this is why some people, when they get a house lot, they can't do anything about it, because you go into some far off place, there's no light, there's no water, there's no road, and so there's no incentive really for you to push yourself to get the house built on that house lot.
Recently, Keith Scott, Junior Communities Minister with responsibility for housing, was quoted as saying that the ministry will be moving to revoke house lots issued by citizens who have paid but failed to commence construction. This had caused much concern for ordinary citizens. The coalition government, during its campaign in the lead-up to the May 11th elections, had promised to make housing more accessible to Guyanese. Reporting for Capital News, Ivor Wharton.
The murder rate in the Bahamas reached a record high of 134 when a man was shot after being confronted by a gunman. Here's more.
The unidentified victim's body was laying on a sidewalk on Tonic Williams Darling Highway, where it fell after he was shot to death after being chased through a shortcut onto the highway. Police say the latest homicide brings the murder count to 124. Officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, says police received the call around 11:30.
This male here on the scene ran from the residence at Eaton Road towards Tonic Darling Highway, where he collapsed in the street, suffering from his injuries. The brother was also shot. His injuries are not life-threatening, we believe, and he was transported to hospital where he's now being treated.
The victim was shot multiple times about the body. An area resident said she and others are now afraid to be at home because they no longer feel safe after what occurred in the middle of the day. Superintendent Roll says police are still in the early stages of their investigation.
We do not have a motive at this stage for this homicide here this afternoon, but appeal to persons who would have any information to provide that information to us and help us to advance this investigation.
Greetings everyone, I'm GQ from the morning show right here on ZIZ Radio Power 96.1, and right now I'm invading your homes to tell you about the official cool down fete for Sugar Mass 44. It's scheduled to be on January 3rd of 2016. I'm going to be there. I hope to see you there, and a host of bands, food, music, and a lot of entertainment for you. Remember, it's the official cool down fete for Sugar Mass 44. Revel like never before.
It has been an ongoing fight of the police.
In the past 6 months, a lot has taken place.
The first half of 2015. Just to recap, there's been trial.
And internationally, a driver swerved into a crowded sidewalk several times on the Las Vegas Strip, injuring more than 30 people in what authorities described as an intentional act. Witnesses said the woman was driving down Las Vegas Boulevard before her car jumped onto the sidewalk and started striking pedestrians. Here's more.
Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department officials report one person was killed and dozens were injured on Sunday when a woman deliberately drove her car onto a crowded Las Vegas Strip sidewalk.
It looked like she wasn't even trying to stop the car. She had both of her hands on the wheel and was looking straight forward.
It was right near the hotel where the Miss Universe beauty pageant was being held. The woman, who had a 3-year-old in the car with her, was taken into custody and was expected to be charged on Monday. Rabia Qureshi, a tourist visiting from Wisconsin, told local broadcaster KSNV she saw victims flying through the air when the 4-door sedan plowed into a throng of people.
Hundreds of rescue workers are looking for survivors after a landslide hit 33 buildings in the southern Chinese city of Shenzhen. The landslide has blanketed a vast area of 380,000 square miles, covering it with up to 32 feet of mud at an industrial park.
More than 91 men and women remained missing Monday after a sea of red mud buried 33 buildings in China. According to Chinese state media, the landslide swamped 454,000 square yards of 3 industrial parks in the southern city of Shenzhen on Sunday, covering a number of low-rise buildings, factories, and homes. A section of gas pipeline also exploded. A social media account belonging to the Ministry of Land and Resources blamed the landslide on the dumping of construction waste and mud at a nearby site.
Taking a look at the weather, temperatures today will peak at 79 degrees Fahrenheit with a moderate breeze blowing from the east-northeast at 15 miles per hour. Today will be partly sunny in general with a slight chance of brief passing showers. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with a chance of passing overnight showers. Seas are rough with heights up to 10 feet. Warning remain in effect for small craft operators and sea bathers. Sunset today will be at 5:42 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:36 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrage.